And if I could really describe what diabetes is or T1D is as a parent, it's almost like one day you wake up and somebody tells you that there's going to be somebody following your child around trying to kill them 24 hours a day. Because that's really what the disease is. There's no let up on the disease, whether they're sleeping, whether they're at school, whether it's Christmas, it's their birthday. The disease doesn't care. And that's what it feels like as a parent, that somebody's always after your child trying to take them from you.
You know, when we got married, we didn't know, I mean, we were healthy, our parents were healthy, and then over time, you know, I was diagnosed with autoimmune disease. My mom was diagnosed, my sisters, my brother, we found out we all have autoimmune conditions, and then we realized that, yeah, this is clearly something that we passed along this trait and didn't even know we were going to, didn't know that.
My daughter, she'd wake up in the middle of the night and she'd say that she was really thirsty, and her diaper would be wet the next day, completely full, and really irritable. So we had to take her to the doctor, and you know, at first we thought maybe she had a urinary tract infection. But then they tested her blood sugar and it was over 700.
Well, I was diagnosed when I was 2.5 and I got type 1 diabetes. My parents said that I was just grumpy a lot and that I didn't really want to be with my mom. I just wanted to be with my dad. And so they took me in and the doctor said I had type 1, and that's pretty much what happened.
Life for us overnight was completely changed in that exact instant. You know, going from the pediatrician's office, rushing over to the hospital, and then them explaining to us, you're going to be giving shots the rest of her life, testing blood sugar. And it was something I never, ever thought I would have to deal with as a father.
In January 2017, type 1 diabetes struck the Loftus family once again.
Well, it's about 11:30 at night. We're about ready to go to bed. And I was like, well, that's weird that he had an accident. You know, he's all upset because he had an accident. So I take him back upstairs and get him cleaned up and, you know, fresh sheets and lay him down. Thinking I know I need to check him. I went ahead and pricked his finger, and I just waited the 10 seconds was, it felt like an hour. And I've done this before, but for some reason I just had my hand over the meter because I don't know if I want to know. And I took my hand away after it beeped, and it said 450. And I just lost it. I couldn't believe it. It was just the worst feeling in the world.
Dylan Loftus, age 5, would now have to live his life with type 1 diabetes.
Kind of scared. I had to go to the hospital and I had to get my blood taken. They had to test it to see if I got diagnosed.
We always said we could never handle another diabetic in the family. It would just be so overwhelming because it takes so much out of you to handle this disease. And I'm laying there on the floor crying, and Dylan just looks down at me and he says, "Dad, what the heck are you doing?" To live with the disease as a parent, you have to wear a very strong face for your kids, because if you really showed them how terrified you are for them, they wouldn't be able to handle it as well. And to have diabetes come into our life again a second time, it was hard.
All ready? Okay. Got this stopped. Okay, get this one side down. You want it? How much is it? $140. I don't think there's really any way to truly manage it well, at least for kids. Maybe some people can do it. We have not had that luxury of getting a perfect rhythm down. It's always a guessing game. And when you think it's under control and then something happens out of the blue. Your pump fails. Now what do? Things can happen at any time. You have to be prepared all the time.
It's the stereotype in our society, I think, that really bothers me. I still have people come up to me and say, oh, you obviously gave your kid too much sugar. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works. So it's the stereotype that somehow, not only are they living this chronic illness that's life-threatening, it's that they somehow did it to themselves.
I mean, there's some times when I feel really sad and I really wish I didn't have it, and then there's other times where I'm really glad I do have it, and then there's other times I just don't even know I have it. I'm just like normal.
Eliana got a lot of attention because she was, the first diabetic, the only diabetic in the family, and then when Dylan got diagnosed, now we're, it almost seems like tag teaming them, that we're always, worried about the numbers or the carb counts and everything like that. And then you've got, Drew in the middle there, who doesn't have a disease or, but at the same time, we have to be his parent and keep the attention on him as well to where he's not left out.
There's an age gap a little bit between Eliana and Dylan, and I think it kind of went from my little brother who likes to just play toys to, Dylan grew up overnight after his diagnosis. He went from like 5 to 15 overnight. About a day after Dylan was diagnosed, he said to me, "Mom, I always knew I was made for a more important life. And this is kind of like a new life, and this is what I think I was always meant to do. And I can deal with this, and I want to be involved, and I think this is what I was meant to do." I hope that diabetes doesn't set them back in any way at all, whether it's choosing their career or having a family or even just having to worry about it all the time. They shouldn't have to worry about that.
In families where type 1 diabetes is always present, they are faced with a choice: to retreat or to go all in. With the Loftus family, they chose to go all in.
I feel like I've been involved with JDRF ever since Eliana was diagnosed, volunteering, but it really in the moment when Dylan was diagnosed, I felt like I was all in before that, but then when that happened, I really knew I had to give it my all.
It makes me really happy. I'm really glad I have such supportive parents, and I'm glad they're doing this for me and Dylan and Drew.
JDRF is a family that I never thought I would ever be a part of. It's friendships and relationships through the people that I've met, but it's also the #1 organization that's going to help save my kids. They are the leading global funder of research for a cure for type 1. At this point in our life and where we're at with 2 diagnoses, I feel like we've hit a great milestone with the artificial pancreas. 10 years ago when they said, well, we need to raise money at the walk, we need to raise money at the gala, that money actually has tangible results that benefit my family and other families all over the world.
JDRF is the hope that we have, and without that, we're just planning to live our lives like this forever. We're hoping for the future, and we know that JDRF has got a plan to get us to a cure.
I wish there's a cure for T1D.
Realizing that you can make a difference, if you do step up, if you do make a donation, if you do volunteer, you can have a huge impact for so many people. Seeing that within my own family and the benefits of that time and commitment and monetary donation. It's improved my daughter's life, and it's improving my son's life, and I encourage anyone to do the same.